grand. I still had my $100. I lived in a $46,000 RV that I was trying to sell. So, and then what's the other thing I did? And I picked up $10,000 to do in a 15% partnership in the equity of the upside of this guy's company. So literally in 10 days, I was accumulating contacts that could get me equity. And the part of that story is, man, go get you some equity. You know, Jay-Z talks about this. You're getting, you know, so many of you young brothers are getting an advance while I'm picking up the equity.
Ooh, yeah, they're trying to get the get rich quick. Let me give you the money
now. Give it to me now.
Where the publishers get long-term residual income for decades off of
Kevin Hart. Look at what Kevin Hart did with this show, right? He owns that show. He owns the ticket sales. He was willing to promote it, not just be a comedian. Where Richard Pryor showed up and got his check, told his jokes. Kevin Hart says, "Yeah, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna tell my jokes, but I'm gonna own the entire platform, the equity."
So how do you get someone to give you $10,000 when you have nothing to give them in return? Or what is it that you're selling them a greater promise in return?
So what I did was I pitched this guy. I said, look, he's a business owner. He wants traffic in his company. Every business owner wants traffic. Every entrepreneur wants traffic to their website. And I said, look, I'm going to drive traffic to your store. He owned a mattress store, big margins. And I said, I'm going to make sure you have the biggest weekend that you've ever been in. And I said, if you give me $6,000, I'll take the $6,000 to the store. In fact, you don't give me the money, just call it in and approve it. I didn't want to touch his money. I never asked anybody for any money. And I said, I'm going to go run a promotion for you. I'm going to put together the banners, the logos. I'm going to stand out in the street. I'm going to drive the traffic to your place. What do you want, Brent? Lewis? What do you want, Lewis? I did that more than once, by the way. What do you want, Lewis?
You did?
Because my name was Lewis, right?
Yeah.
And I said, dude, I don't want anything. He tried to give me money to do this. I don't want your money. I just want the opportunity. I want to prove myself. Because what I really wanted from him was I wanted him to front the bill at the print shop so that he could put me in play. Well, I went and ran the whole promotion that weekend. I said, if you send them, if you just authorize the spend, I'll conduct the promo. I'll run it and do it. We did $91,000 worth of mattress sales. We did $15,000 that weekend, and then another $65,000 over the next 3 weeks. And he's like, dude, you're a star. Now he's like, hey, what do you want for what you did for me this weekend? That was the best weekend we've ever had. And I'm like, I don't want anything except to be your partner.
So you wanted equity?
I want to be your partner, dude. And I said, I want 15% of the upside of your company. I said, what's fair? He's like 15%. Everything above what I'm doing now, I'll give you 15%. He's the one that made the offer. I said, that's awesome. And then that's when I said, hey, can you give me an advance of $10,000 on the 15%? People think that I asked for $10,000. I actually didn't get $10,000. I got an advance for the partnership, which is even better.
That's fascinating. So you never asked for money. You said, give me equity with everything.
Give me equity. And then once I got the equity agreement on the upside, most people are willing to give you this.
Because it's more than they've already made. They're already making a certain amount. They've never crossed past that probably in years. So they're like, okay, if you can help me 10x it, I'll give you 15%.
I don't want a piece of what you're already doing. That's not fair. That's an unfair deal. I mean, people are like, I need to ask for more. Yeah, but you don't want to ask to look stupid. Like, you can't ask somebody to give you something of a company they already have. Also, it's interesting because they didn't show this, and I look forward to kind of breaking this thing down. I'm going to create a whole platform where I go in and break the show up and show people what they didn't see. When I left Vegas to fly to Pueblo, the production company said, hey, what's your first move? First move, I'm going to the bank to drop off the 100. Second thing, I'm going to the gym and meet people. Third thing is I'm going to find a business for sale, and I'm going to see if the guy that owns the company can give me a place to sleep. Those three things happened exactly the way I predicted before I got to Pueblo, before I even knew I was going to Pueblo. I mean, it happened just every one of them. And then Discovery came to me in 4 days and said, bro, you got to slow down. I said, what do you mean? We don't have a TV show if you keep winning.
Right. If you make it happen in 2 weeks, what are we going to do?
I'm like, okay, come out here and watch me throw up. Okay, come on, I come out here and watch. I'm sick. I was sick from altitude sickness. I'm like, what you guys got to cover how hard this is for me. I'm terrified. I'm cold. My back hurts. I don't have a good place to sleep. I'm pissing in a bottle. And then they cut all that out of the show. So the point of that story is quit going for some dead Benjamins and start getting you some equity. Okay, $100 bills are dead. They're from the past. Equity is the future. And you're better off with the future if you believe in yourself than you are with the dead Benjamin.
What are some things people should be looking for in terms of the right people or the right products or companies to say, okay, and how to position and package themselves to make a partnership equity deal? What should they be looking for, and how can they position and package the way you do?
Yeah, so like in Pueblo, there's 112,000 people that live there. The average household income there is $24,000 a year. Household income. Like it's one of the most beat up, economically beat up cities in America. They were at 8% unemployment when the country was at 3. When COVID hit, it went to 22. Wow, like just ridiculous, right? So now, when I'm in a problem environment like that, you have to do the math. So I'm like, okay, there's 112,000 people. I can't meet them all, and I don't want to meet them all. I only have 90 days. So then I said, okay, who's got the money in this town? The businesses have the money in the town. This is the unfair advantage I have in this show, is that I did not go there to start a new business. I went there to find a business that was already banking. A lot of people think I
Did you have that intention before?
100%. I said, there's no way I'm going to start a new business. There's 34 million businesses in America. America does not need a new business.
And it's so hard to launch and create momentum, especially if you don't, even with your audience, it's hard to launch.
It is so ridiculous. It is so stupid what people are doing today. I'm going to start a new beauty salon. I'm going to start a new masseuse place. I'm going to start a new cosmetologist house. I'm going to start you got a new idea. Nobody needs it. Like, if you were an alien looking down at the United States of America and saying, okay, what is there too much of? Restaurants, bars, and businesses. It's too many of them. And then some kid pops up, Paul pops up and says, I'm going to start a new business. And the guy from outside the planet's looking down there saying, well, that's stupid. Why don't you just go 2/3 of all the businesses in America break even or lose money?
So what I'm hearing you say, Grant, is a lot of people have the dream of wanting to start and launch a business, but what I'm hearing you say is it's probably a lot smarter to go find a failing business or a business that's breaking even, jump in, add value, and see if you can 10x that.
Dude, that's how you get on planes. That's how you go to the hospital and you need emergency care. You don't build a hospital. You just go to the hospital. You want food, you go to Whole Foods. You want gas, you go to the gas station. It's no different in business. It's called a going concern for a reason. Find a going concern that's got a brand. Go in. That's what I did. I just went in and added value. Once I added value, actually, we end up splitting off another business out of that. So out of that relationship, your first question was, hey, who are you looking for? I'm looking for contacts that can actually become contracts. I'm looking for specific relationships. They have to have money. They have to have credibility. They have to have credit lines. That's the only people I was looking for in Pueblo. Out of 112,000 people, are there 50 of them? I need to meet 50 people that have money, credit, and credibility.
How did you feel? Because I saw in the first episode that you got rejected a few times. How did you feel from someone who is getting yeses a lot and building their business so fast to go into a place where people just say, nah, I don't believe in you, or you don't seem credible, or how did you take it security-wise and internally?
Well, again, pieces you don't hear is I was in this meeting and this guy starts flexing on me. And he literally, I had to sit there and listen to his, well, I raised $30 million and I bought all this and I put this together and I'm the king and la, la, la. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dude, I'd like to just drop. You want to see a flex right now? The same day I had written a check for $45 million and I'm having to bite my tongue. He doesn't know I can be his investor. By the way, there was a great lesson in that. I was nobody. Shaved head, old truck, no name, no social media following. And this guy treated me just like that. like I'm a nobody.
And you never know who you're talking to or who they're friends with or who their family is that could support you potentially.
Totally. Like the same day this guy's flexing on me about how he raised 30 million, he's the king of Pueblo, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, like what I had in my checking account that day is Grant Cardone. I just wanted to pop it out on him. Like, shut up, dog. Treat everybody like you never know who you're dealing with. You know, and just because they're having a bad day, you don't know who you're dealing with, and number two, more importantly, you don't know who they're going to become.
Yeah, they may not have money yet, but in 10 years, they might have a brand or audience or something that can support you.
Every accredited investor was a non-accredited investor at one time. Every whale was a minnow.
I mean, you've been doing sales for, 4 decades now?
Yeah.
You've been selling from cars to real estate to everything in between, 11 best-selling books. You've been a selling machine. How did it feel to go in without being able to use any of that and go back to kind of the basics of like, okay, I'm a brand new car salesman just trying to figure out how to do this thing. How did you have the confidence or the courage to go in blind and try to build these relationships?
Because I had the commitment. I was committed to the outcome. I always say that commitment comes with time and money.
The thing that you do extremely well is you're a master enroller, Grant. And I believe that we're either enrolling people in our vision or we're unenrolling them in our vision every moment, every day with our content, our posts, our interactions. And we could be unenrolling people in our brand from one conversation or one thing that we do to piss someone off. Where did you learn the skill of enrollment, of getting people to buy into you and your vision?
I think what I do is, and I talk about this in Sell or Be Sold. I've been a sales guy for a long time, and I just learned early on, and I was terrible at sales. 17 years old, 18, 19, part-time sales guy. I was awful. When I finally realized that sales was the only job I could get at 25 years old, I'm just like, dude, I just got to tell people the truth because I can't do all these tricks. The NLP, and look, if it works for you, good, whatever, but the mirroring, the matching, they ask a question, you ask a question, the hot potato. I've heard all these strategies. And I'm like, dude, I just can't do it. I'm just going to be me. Hey, guys, I'm moving from LA. I'm out of work. I'm looking for opportunity, trying to move my family here. My name's Lewis Curtis. 2008 beat me up. I got to get my family out of LA. Real estate's impossible. I can't buy it there. It's priced out of the market. And I'm here in Pueblo because I think there's opportunity here, and that's all I'm looking for. No handouts, no help. I got an old truck with me. I got no money. I left my kids with. You got to have your story so people enroll, but you also have to be talking to the right audience. I only spent time with people that were able, capable, qualified. I spent no time. I was in a meeting once in Pueblo. I walked into the meeting, assessed the situation, and bounced. I said, guys, I'm done. I'm out of here. Boom, and I walked out. And my partner at that time, you'll see it later in the later shows. He's like, what just happened? I'm like, there's nothing here, bro.
There's no money here.
There's no opportunity here. And I'm on a clock. I couldn't tell him I'm on a clock. I couldn't tell anybody. So I had these little secrets going on. So, how do you enroll people? It's like, you got to get enrolled. My personal integrity and ethics is why I can sell so hard. And because I believe in my product, I believe in my investment vehicle, I believe in my company. I don't trick people, screw people. Like 35 years I've been in business, there's not one person in 35 years that says I owe them money. There's people that try to get stuff from me using lawyers and bullshit, but there's nobody that can say I ever financially damaged them in any way, not a penny. And so that allows me to go back into the world and push. It allows me to sell tickets for big prices. When I spent $7 million to rent Mandalay Bay, dude, I can sell anybody a $20,000 ticket. Like I spent, somebody complained about my ticket price. I'm like, dude, like I spent $7 million on this event. You spent 20 grand. Who got the best deal?
How did you learn to have courage in yourself when you were, doing drugs and, I think you're an alcoholic. I think in the past when you were a teenager, maybe not a full-on alcoholic.
No, it was a drug problem. It wasn't an alcohol.
Yeah, drugs and just kind of a deadbeat for off and off many years. How did you learn to kind of build confidence though, so that you could be inspired in yourself to push bigger, to ask for more? How did you do that?
Well, first I quit using drugs. I mean, the order, everybody wants to get better and have confidence, but the first thing you got to do is you got to quit doing whatever's destroying your self-esteem. You know, I'd like to believe that I can look in the mirror and tell myself I'm great, and then I'll feel it. But if you're destroying yourself the other 23 hours and 56 minutes, the self-talk ain't gonna matter. So I had to quit doing damage to myself. I hated myself. The worst part of my drug addiction was it wasn't just what the drugs were doing to me, and the hangovers and the lost time, and it was the personal deprivation and degrade that I was doing to myself, and how many times I tried to quit. Lewis, every morning for 10 years, I said, today's the last day. I'm never going to use it again. 15 minutes.
10 years.
10 years, 9 years and 9 years and like 6 months.
So what was the deciding factor that actually made you quit?
I finally went, I had to go some place. I had to change my environment. So I went to a treatment center in Minneapolis during the winter time, late February. I was 25 years old and spent 28 days there in an environment where nobody had drugs. I didn't have access to drugs. And people were starting to talk about, okay, how'd you get here? They ended up putting me on drugs in the treatment center. And I'm like, I don't want the drugs. They're like, oh, no, you need it to detox, to get off. I'm like, this was 30 years ago. Like, they've really ramped that program up now. It's the legal drug dealer now, is the treatment center. But the environment gave me at least, I was able to look around and see the damage drugs were causing these other people, men and women of all ages. And then that really solidified, okay, I'm stopping. But I needed one day not to use drugs, because I had been using drugs every day for 9 years, 9.5 years.
Wow.
And so I needed the first day. Once I got the first day, I'm like, shit, I can put together 2 days. Then my head started clearing up a little bit. 28 days later, I go home to Lake Charles, Louisiana, and that's when the rebuilding really took place. And I had to replace all that drug time, which was a bunch of hours every day. And this is what made me the beast. Like the savage that I am today.
You had to put that time to good use.
Dude, I had so much free time.
Right, not being high, not doing drugs
looking for drugs, finding drugs, losing drugs, like losing,
hiding the drugs. Yeah.
Find them, buy them, lying to people, hiding from people. It was terrible. It was terrible. I did that for 9.5 years. It was awful. So it's the worst part of my life. It's the darkest, worst part of my life. And so I had to crawl out. And then I replaced, literally, when I was 25 years old, I started every day with a meeting, and I ended every day with a meeting. I'd go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting or some kind of 12-step program I'll bet you I did that for 15 or 16 years.
So you were all in committed. I'm going to a meeting in the morning and at night.
I'm going there to help myself, and I'm gonna help somebody else every day.
Wow, 15 years.
Yeah, and then that was my form of helping people. Like, I'm gonna help other people that have this problem. That really kept me from going back. And then when I wasn't at a meeting, I was studying sales for the first 5. When I got out of the treatment center between 25 and 30 years old, all I did every day was study sales, do sales, or I was in a meeting.
That's impressive.
I would drive 25 minutes to work, and I would listen to sales tapes. I'd listen to this one set of sales tapes I had, and I would learn how I would learn the game. Like, I would learn how to talk to people, communicate. And it was really communication skills. It wasn't so much sales. It was more logic, how to make sense of a purchase or an investment. And then sometimes at lunch, I'd go to a meeting.
What was in those early tapes, is there anything you remember that you still use today that seems to work consistently on the science or secret of selling, that's very simple maybe for someone to do, but maybe they just don't have the courage or confidence, the reps to do it?
What happened when I really started learning in the beginning, what you learn is you're learning from the master, and so I'm duplicating and emulating. Then at some point you cross over and you become the master. And if you're a guy like me, I'm always looking to improve everything. I'm looking for another little tweak, another little twist. You and I did that with the podcast. I'm looking for that next thing all the time, how to make something just a little better, a little faster. And so at some point, I kept studying this guy until I was able. In the beginning, I didn't challenge anything. I duplicated. I got
let me follow the
results.
script that I learned. Let me use exactly what he's telling me to do. Do it.
Whatever I heard, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna make that work. That's gonna be my stable datum. And once I could trust that, then I could build on top of it. I never butted anything. Oh, I got a better way in the beginning, dude. Until I got the results over and over, consistent results. Then I started teaching it to other people. Then I started learning angles, and then I basically created my own style and my own. I actually almost threw away what I had learned and created this new thing called information assisted selling.
Information assisted selling.
Where I started leading with what people wanted rather than this guy kind of hid. It was the old school, hide it. Don't avoid the price, bring it up later. And that's where I really started accelerating everything, giving people the information up front, allowing you to understand how much this watch or ring was or car was. Before you even asked about it, I'd tell you it's $58,000.
Right away. So you wouldn't wait to the very end. You'd say,
yeah. So look, if you're shopping for a car or a watch or a ring, a coaching program, whatever it is, you probably want to know how much it is. I know I would. This particular product's $58,000. It would require about $2,500 down. The payments would be about $550 a month. Let's be sure you're on the right product. See, I got the value proposition, the money. I got you thinking about money right now. I want you thinking about money, so that when I show the product, you can start making sense of it. Because I can't convince you that it's worth it. You have to convince you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can build value, but the buyer is the buyer. I can't be the buyer. I can only help the buyer make sense of it.
Is there a certain amount of steps in this selling system that you have?
It's like tell them what your intention are. My intention is to get you to be of service to you, to do business with you. Okay.
So right up front, if I'm looking to buy real estate,
let's say I'm doing a webinar and it's a coaching class because you and I are in that space.
Yeah.
You've heard me many times. Open the event with, "Hey, my intention is to get all of you to be my customer tonight. We have a $1,900 program or a $9,000 program. We're going to offer it to you tonight for $997. It's sitting over there on the website right now. If you want to go click it, get it. But my intention is to make every one of you a customer. The most you can spend with me is $997 tonight, okay? Or you spend nothing at all. And then what I'm going to do is spend the next 3 days or 3 hours or 30 minutes talking about this program. But I let everybody know right from the get-go. Now, Russell does it different. He's going to wait till the end.
So that's step one, is be clear with your intention about
what's my intention. Okay. Second is, what do I have to offer? 3, I need to qualify the lead. Is the lead even qualified to do anything with me? Otherwise, I need to balance.
Have the money. Yeah.
I need a balance.
Do you tell people, hey, just go ahead and get off this training right now if your intention is not to be a customer, or do you allow them to kind of
you can listen if you want to. You can keep listening if you want to. You can watch for free if you choose to. But let's say I'm selling a guy a watch. I mean, I'm going to tell him it's $58,000. We do have a payment plan. Payments could be as low as $300 a month. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever bought a $58,000 watch? No? What kind of watch do you have? I got a Seiko. Great. How much was it? $200. Right. Now he's telling me, hey, maybe move him into some different inventory. I might be on the wrong product.
Okay, so that's step 3 of these.
Yeah, and then it's going to be, I'm going to explain my product, be sure it fits his needs, okay? And then I'm going to trial close him and say, hey, come on inside, let's make this work. Let me make you a customer. Let me get you a watch. Let me get you a car. Let me get you a coaching program. Let me get you started, and then I'm going to close the deal.
Say trial close, is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm going to test it. I'm going to try to move that. I'm going to try to move the buyer. Hey, go to the table. Right? For those of you who are ready,
go to the checkout page.
Huh?
Go to the checkout page.
Or go to the landing page, right? And then hopefully I'll close the deal. And then I move into follow-up. So it's not really a sales process. It's really a customer experience.
And what have you learned about? You've done so many massive deals over the last 3 or 4 years in real estate. What have you learned about negotiations and the power of negotiating to get exactly what you want in these bigger, mega multi-million-dollar deals that you're doing?
It gets pretty intense, man. Like
The negotiation process?
Oh yeah. Massive egos. Like you got a lot of people involved. You got very intelligent people involved. Everybody's got money. It's like the whale and the great white and the killer whales there and the humpbacks there. And it's a feeding frenzy. Everybody's got bulk. Everybody's got muscle. Everybody's got power. Everybody's got money. And it's, but,
what have you learned about the art of negotiation during, these bigger deals for yourself and how to navigate those?
Most of these deals are lost over face. They're not even lost over money. They're lost over somebody losing face. I'm doing a deal right now.
You mean ego, or mean what do you mean?
I can't, if I give you any more, I lose face.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm negotiating a deal right now. And I said, look, if I give this guy exactly what he wants right now, he still will not do it. And they're like, why is that? Because he's going to lose face. So it's people have to win. It's almost never about just the money. It's how do I win, not just financially, but how do I win and feel good about this transaction? Because I've done transactions before where I supposedly won in the moment and everybody felt terrible.
So it's not a win unless everyone wins.
Dude, everybody needs to win. Everybody needs to win something. Like everybody needs to feel like good about the transaction. I'd rather pay a little more and make sure you feel good than I pay a little less and you feel bad, because I can't do another deal with you now. And I'm trying to do more deals. And then everybody's got a motivation. Everyone has a motivation. Every buyer has a motivation. Every seller has a motivation. Most of the time it has nothing to do with the money. You have to find the motivation.
How do you do that quickly for yourself? Are you asking certain questions if they know what that is? Are you just listening to their, without asking them, what's your motivation? How do you ask them?
I could ask that. Other than money, what do you need? What's your motivation? I could ask them straight up. Asking those kind of direct questions are very powerful. Hey, why would you pick me as a buyer? There's so many other people that could buy this asset. Like that's one I used in the real estate game. These are $100 million projects, some of which you're invested in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey guys, like JP Morgan's trying to buy this, Blackstone's trying to buy this, Grant Cardone's trying to buy this, 2 other groups that have more assets than I have. I'm the little guy on the list. Why me? Why would you pick me? Well, we probably won't. See, that's me qualifying. We're probably going to give it to the guy that just sold the New York Mets. I just lost a deal to that guy. So there was no number. There was nothing I could have done. No number I could have done that would have gotten that deal.
So what does that do for you when you have that information? Is it just allow you to move on quicker to the next opportunity? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I stay in real estate. It's called staying by the board. I'm waiting for a rebound. Maybe he blows. Maybe the guy leaves, and I'm there waiting for the rebound. I'm just waiting for a ball to fall in my hands, right? And so I'll wait until he closes. But it lets me know, hey, go add something else. That's that 10X mentality. Okay, don't depend on this one thing. If you're disappointed, if I'm disappointed, it's because I'm relying on too few of things. If I resent my customer, it is because I have too few.
Too few customers.
Yeah, so everybody, the beauty salon, the restaurant, the bar owner, the consultant, we've all had the experience of resenting our customers, starting not to like them. And it's because we become dependent upon them. We have too few.
If we're resenting our customer, what is that saying about us? That we're not building our brand, that we're not growing, that we're not selling enough?
Yeah, you didn't build the top of your funnel out enough because this part of it's easy. Even though you hate them, they never pay you enough. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. They don't pay me enough. They always complain. They never use the product. No matter what I do for them, they complain. Okay, they're never happy. Blah blah blah. Right? Well, the truth is, those are indications that you didn't build your customer base wide enough, because you now resent them. Your resentment is an indication that you rely on them too much. And every time they complain to you, it reminds you that I'm too reliant on too little. And we've all done it. We all do it. I've done it. Right now, I'm doing it in my real estate. I told my guy, Ryan, the other day, I said, we're depending on this one guy too much. And he's like, why do you say that? Because I'm starting to resent it.
This is what it feels like wearing regular shoes. No all-around support. And this is what it's like wearing Skechers Arch Fit footwear. It's all the comfort and support you need. We're almost done here, brother. It's good to have support. Find Skechers Arch Fit footwear with podiatrist certified arch support.
So what's the first thing we should do? What's the action steps after that when we resent our customers?
You got to understand, it's not about them, it's about you. It has nothing to do with them. You need to go wide. You need to go get more customers. If you resent Facebook, if Facebook pisses you off, it is because you are too reliant on Facebook.
You got to get other platforms. You got to build other leads in other places. There's a ton of social media sites. Don't rely on one.
Exactly. And so for me, resentment is always an indication of something about me.
What happens if you resent a family member? If you resent your kids, you're not going to say, oh, I'm going to go find new kids.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, I don't resent my kids. So,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing some stuff with my kids. I don't have that particular issue, but maybe I'm doing some stuff with my kids that somebody else should be doing. Right. So maybe, I remember when we first had Sabrina, I said, Elena, you cannot be with Sabrina every hour of the day. And I'm like, I don't want that. And we need to get a nanny so that you're not resenting that your entire life. And I know this is hard for women to hear, but no woman, no man or woman should spend all their time with a kid. Like, how can that be entertaining? Like, I love my kids. I don't want to be with them all the time. Never have wanted to be with them all the time. I want to be with them more now when they're growing up than I did when they were 3 months old. Like, oh, you're so cute until you're not. And so, if you're resenting your kids, maybe it's because you are not willing to spend money on a nanny. Or
thinking of new strategies, just like in your business. What's a new strategy to increase your customers, to increase the top of the funnel, to bring people like that? A lot of people will say this, even still today. I know you talked about this a lot, that money will make you happy. Do you think most people with money are happy? People that have above their means, that have an abundance of finances in their bank, that can buy anything, go anywhere at any time. Do you think most of them are happy? And how do you build wealth and stay happy at the same time?
Well, number one is, I don't think, money will not make you happy. Like, if you're not happy, you're not happy. So it'll make you jubilant and it'll make you giddy for a second. If I dropped off 100 million, at your feet right now, it would definitely change your attitude for a bit. But sooner or later, you're coming back. You're coming back to your happiness level. I've never tried to get money to make me happy, ever. I've never thought, oh, I'm going to go get X money, this much money, and I'm going to somehow be happier. I've never, ever, I don't even know where this concept came from, the connection between the two. I go to the gym, I think I'm going to build muscle. I go to the water fountain, I think I'm going to quench a thirst. I go to a football game, I think I'm going to be entertained. I get money, I never think about, okay, I'm going to get 10 million bucks and I'm going to suddenly be happy. I never even think about it like that. I'm going to get 10 million and then I'm going to invest it and I'm going to pick up 30 million on the next swing and I'm going to take 30 million and convert that to 90 million. And I'm going to take that and convert it into 270 and I'm going to get to, blah, 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 right? And then what am I going to do with it? But dude, I'm never thinking about it. It's going to make me happy. We just gave in December $25 million to Irrevocable Trust that will fund a charity for the next 25 years.
Wow.
Another $8 million to charity in cash in December. Like, that didn't make me happy either, but it sure made them happy.
For a moment, yeah.
And for a moment, and they're like, wow, man, that's awesome. You know, they all celebrating everything. Made me feel good. I don't know that it made me happy.
What do you do to cultivate happiness on a daily basis for yourself beyond the money?
Yeah, so happiness for me comes from doing
Personally.
Yeah, it comes from accomplishing things. Like, I experience my happiness when I accomplish something I'm proud of. So when we do a conference and I walk away and I'm thrilled at the event we put on, the quality, the lights, you know, that feels good. You know, when the people around me are happy, when I look around, when I'm proud of who I'm being and doing every day, you know, that makes me happy. Seeing my kids are so proud of my kids. They're such a, you know, a validation that I'm a good guy. When I can't see the good guy in me, I can look at Sabrina and Scarlett and say, hey, dude, you got to be a good guy to produce those. Because I got good kids.
Yeah, I saw the speech. I think Sabrina's was like 11 or 10 or 11.
Yeah.
The speech on stage. I was like, this girl's a better speaker than me now at 37 as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and the confidence and the poise. I was like, that's a skill right there. You must have been very proud watching her on stage.
Oh my God, just like her dancing down the aisle, you know, that video, I'm so proud of that video. She wrote her own speech, practiced her own speech, threw away her index cards in the middle of it, wrote her own jokes, you know, practiced and knew how to use the teleprompter. I mean, and the same thing for my 8-year-old. Like, they did that. And so I'm really proud of that. Elena's done a great job with them. They've done communication courses for kids that really help them have that confidence and social presence. So that makes me so happy, bro. There's nothing that makes me happier than that. My friendship with you, how it's grown and developed, that makes me happy. But money, man, you know, being on my plane, dude, sometimes being on my plane, nobody else is on it, just me. I get giddy. Like those are moments where I'm like, dang, I love this plane so much. You know, finishing the Pueblo project, made me really happy and proud. But dude, I wasn't happy while I was doing it.
Right. But finishing hard things makes you happy.
Totally. But that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Probably the best and worst experience I've ever had in my lifetime was Undercover Billionaire.
The thing that inspires me about you, there's a lot of things that inspire me about you. And you rub a lot of people the wrong way. And you get a lot of negative criticism online, a lot more positive than negative, but you definitely rub a lot of people the wrong way. You say things that can be offensive at times. You frustrate people. You offend people, all these things. I've known you for 12 years. I know you behind the scenes. I know, you know, a lot more about who you are than some of the content you put out there. But one of the things that inspires me about you is your ability to reinvent after 50. And I think there's a lot of people when they hit 40 or 50, they think of, okay, well, my best years are behind me. I had my opportunity in my 20s and 30s to build something. There's no way I'll be able to build something now in my 50s and beyond. Whereas you kind of said, I'm 50, now's the time to build. What is the mindset you would share with anyone who's 40, 50, or 60 and above who hasn't accomplished what they want yet? What would you say to them based on what you've learned after 50?
You know, I used to tell myself I would never have anything to contribute to the world until I was 50. Because I'm very immature. I've always been described as a rough diamond, like rough around the edges, abrasive, not much of a filter, you know. I am. I mean, I know everything that people say negative about me. For every one thing the public has, I know everyone. There's nothing anybody ever says about me that surprises me. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, you guys don't think I know that? I live with me every day. Like, I did not think I would have anything to contribute worthwhile until I was 50 years old. And that was about the time the economic collapse was, the Great Recession. And I was so lost in that financially. I didn't understand. I was actually being formed right there. I was being mature. I was being prepared for whatever's going on in my life right now. Really, the creation of Grant Cardone has happened in the last 10 or 12 years, not before that. The Grant Cardone people know today is being developed right now. And I would just tell people that are older, like, dude, you're going to have more energy later unless you don't. You're going to have more genius later unless you refuse to. You're going to have the ability to influence more unless you refuse to influence. And age has got nothing to do with the game. Like, nobody really knows my age. Like, I was 50 years old when I was in Pueblo. I told everybody I'm 50 years old. My name's Louis Curtis. I have 2 kids, beautiful 2 kids. I've got a wife named Ava. I had made up names for the kids. I had to make up all that story. And we live in LA and I hate it. Because if I told people I was me in Miami, if anybody went and searched it and started doing, images, like people do all that stuff today. So I would just tell people, man, I look at people that are 80 years old. I'm like, dude, I got 20 years left. You know how much damage I can do in 20 years? I know guys who are in great shape. Dolly Parton, I mean, she's still hammering. She never did 9 to 5. She made some money on a song called 9 to 5. But she's been doing 5 to 9 for years. So I just think people can get better if they want to, or they can get worse. You're either going to decay or you're going to reboot yourself over and over again.
The 2008, 2009 was tough for you, just like it was for a lot of people. What was the lesson you learned then that prepared you for 2020? That when the recession hit, you said, okay, I know exactly what to do based on that pain in 2008.
Yeah, well, I was so disappointed with myself then. Like, I had not put my family in a position to flourish and prosper because of suppression. The tide goes out, you don't have a boat, shame on you. Right. And I didn't have a boat, dude. I looked good until it happened.
You had a suit, you had the car.
I thought I was good, but I was too small. Small always gets hurt. And that was my big wake-up call in 2008. I didn't have enough assets. I didn't have enough money. My business was too small. My customer base was too small. I was too reliant on too few verticals. This was the creation of 10X. I blame no one in 2008, 9, and 10. I was like, okay, I got myself in. This is not about the mortgage crisis. It's not about the builders. It's not about the strippers that got 17 loans. This is about me. I was in this pile of shit. I was in this fear. I let my family and myself down. Nothing was happening to me. And the most important thing is, I was not in a position to take advantage of it. That's the thing that pissed me off. Mm-hmm. And so I told Elaine, I said, the next time this happens, dude, we're going to freaking rock. And then COVID had happened. And COVID, I was shooting a TV show, and my company would have the best year it's ever had. Wow. I wasn't even here. We bought more assets this year than we bought the year before. We raised more money this year than the year before. When Lehman collapsed in 2008, I had $50 million worth of debt. I told Elaine, I said, the next time it hits the fan, I'm going to have $1 billion worth of debt. I told her, I said, I'm going to have $500 million worth of debt. We had $1.2 billion worth of debt when COVID hit.
And so people understand, what does that mean?
You want debt. You want debt, man. You want debt. Who keeps getting bailed out? Only your mommy and daddy think that you should have all your debt paid off. The big boys want debt. They want lots of it. Government has debt. California can never, ever pay all its debts. That's why it keeps shutting down California, because they're trying to get money from the federal government to bail them out.
What's the difference between good debt and bad debt? Because I think when people might hear this, they might say, okay, open up a bunch of credit cards and spend it on whatever you want.
Yeah, we're back to that first question about spending versus investing, right? So consumer debt is terrible debt. Suicide debt.
That's credit card debt.
Buying the Lamborghini on debt. Like if you're going to buy a Lamborghini, lease it for $20. Borrow money for this Santa Claus for your kids. I know people are going to hate that message. That's why so many people dislike. They just don't like.
It's stupid to go in debt. If you want to do it and for fun or for whatever, then that's okay. But you're not investing in a potential greater future.
No. Now, if I borrow money for Santa Claus, that's one thing. If I borrow money to invest in a piece of real estate for my kids, I know which one's going to work. Yeah. If you just follow the tax write-offs, you'll know the right thing to do. I can't write off Santa. I can't write off the real estate.
Right.
So, Yeah, bad debt is anything that I have to then pay the interest rate on. Good debt is I made an investment and my consumer or my tenant is going to pay my debt.
That's powerful. So you're trying to get more debt.
You probably have more debt with me than you even know. Like because of the investments you've made with me, you have debt. You have good debt. You just don't really know it. Your accountant does though, because we're sending them the K1 at the end of the year. That's why when we send you a check, you don't pay income on that check.
That's nice.
Very nice. So you look in your return, but whatever I paid you last year, but that is non-taxable income to you.
Because of the debt that we have.
Because of the debt. Yeah, exactly.
On the asset.
Exactly.
So what's your goal for a year from now? How much debt do you want to have?
Oh yeah, goddamn, I'd love to double that, dude. I got to double that to get where I'm going. We have $2.3 trillion worth of 2.3 billion. Sorry, not trillion.
Trillion.
See, the next thing starts getting harder and harder, right? So.
2.3 billion worth of assets.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to hit 6 by the end of this year. I don't think it's possible, but that'd be freaking awesome.
So, if it was possible, what would need to happen?
I would need to buy a portfolio. I have to change the way I'm doing things. I got to quit buying one deal at a time, and I got to buy a portfolio, or I got to go buy a company. I got to go eat somebody that's got 9,000 units. I have 9,000, so if I went and grabbed somebody's portfolio.
So you just need to find someone who's got 9,000 units, or you need to, what was the other option?
Buy a portfolio.
That seems pretty possible.
So yeah, but you see that clarity right there. You helping me with that clarity shows me who I need to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, do you know three people in your mind who's got 9,000 units, or who has a bigger portfolio that you can?
Oh yeah, I got a list of 100 guys that have bigger portfolios than I do.
What would it take from you to get to 6 billion in the next 6 months, not 12 months? What would it take from you?
I just couldn't close the deals that fast. I mean, some things physically take more time.
Okay.
I mean, at least that's what I'm thinking right now. But look, if I got it done this year, that would be massive. It would be like, you're talking about what I've done in 25 years being done in 1 year.
Okay. You did the same thing on YouTube last year. 13 years of content, you got more views in 1 year on YouTube.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all relative, man.
You're right, dude. That's why I do these podcasts at the School of Greatness, because every time I do one, I end up better off. I don't know what you do to me while we do these, but every time I come out, I'm bigger.
Well, I hear you say it's not possible to do it this year to get to 6 billion from 2.4. Then I said, well, if it was possible, you said, well, I just need to find more portfolios or acquire someone who's got 9,000 units. And
then you'll drop it in there. You'll drop in the good question, okay, and then I'll start working on it, and then you guys think I can do it or not do it. Just maybe a year from now we'll do another. We should
do a $1 million bet on it. Maybe if you had that, the pressure, the top, all those things, maybe you would create.
I don't know, man. That's pretty hard. I mean, I'm running up against my blocks.
You did this last time, though. Last 2 times you ran up against blocks, but then you blew past them.
You're planting the seed, bro. One thing about me, one thing nobody can say that I don't, I use information. I use experiences. I leverage everything. Like I consume and I multiply. I don't just consume. And too many people just consume and never use. So
what do you mean by that? They're consuming information, but they're never applying it.
Yeah, you're either a consumer, a producer, or an investor. And I'm all three. I consume it, I produce on it, and then I invest it. And I'm greedy too, by the way. I'm greedy about my own self-improvement.
Yeah.
I'm greedy, and I am very highly interested in my personal self-improvement, because I know that's where it all starts. I have to make me the most important thing in my life, because other people can't get better if I don't.
What are the 3 things you'd like to improve in the next year, personally?
I would love to improve my communication skills. Clubhouse is like the amount of eloquence, the amount of people there that are able to see other people's viewpoints has been fascinating to me. So number 1, I'd like to become a better communicator. Number 2, and I think I already am just from being on Clubhouse. Like Clubhouse has been an incredible gift to me.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to be in those rooms with you.
Yeah, and so I've learned a lot about how to talk, how to listen, that I didn't know because of the two-way communication. You don't get that from Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I don't get it from dropping a video on YouTube. Number two is the collaboration. I want to collaborate with more people. Number three, third thing I want to do, I need to work on my relationships, my personal relationships. Could be a better husband, definitely a better husband. I've been running really fast. The show I think the show caused a lot of friction between me and Elena.
Really?
Yeah, because I was in this thing, bro. Like I was in hell. And she was giving me pep talks. I'm like, hey, dude, I don't need a pep talk right now. Like, you don't understand. It's 15 degrees. I'm dying out here. Okay. And she's like, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, yeah, okay, click. Like, you don't get it. Like it put a lot of stress on us. And then we were apart. So we learned how to be apart. And like, so that's got to get, just between me and you, that's got to get, this doesn't have to make the podcast, but I got some work to do on that, just to be frank and honest. Relationships are hard, man.
They are. After how many years you been married? 15
or 16, yeah.
15, 16, yeah. You've been together for over 15 years. What do you say is this is an important question, and we're going to get to the end here soon, but I think this is huge. How do you navigate building financial wealth and creating a healthy marriage or partnership in a relationship at the same time? Because I feel money is the biggest thing that breaks up or causes stress, or with relationships, how do you manage both?
Yeah, it's just, for me, like we don't have money. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Everybody has money problems.
There's different problems.
I just realized when I was saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, I have money problems too. It's a flip side of the problem. So it's not really a problem with money, dude. It's decision making. Every day I'm doing stuff that's like, there's some things you're always by yourself. There's some things in life that no matter how much love you have or how close your partner is, you're still by yourself in that moment. I can talk about it. I can share it. We can hug it out. I'm still left with the burden of that decision. You know what I'm saying? And am I doing the right thing? Like there's a lot of things that I'm involved in that right now that maybe Elena doesn't even want me to do it that way. And she's like, and I'm like, no, I have to do it this way. Like everyone is against me doing it that way, except me.
Like a business thing or like a personal thing, or you don't have to share if you don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah, like a number of those things.
Yeah.
Like when COVID happened, I shut our department down. Everybody was against that except me. I was all by myself in that decision.
People are like, no, let's just like cut back the salaries a little bit. We'll keep
everybody. I'm like, no, we're gonna eliminate that department. You guys need to think about this overnight. This is gonna be the worst. This is gonna be the worst contraction in my lifetime. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. We walked out of the meeting. Everyone was against it.
How many people did you have to let
42. A whole department.
Now, looking back almost a year later, in your mind, was that a great decision? And is your team seeing, or it was a good decision? Or was it
was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was a mistake, and your team told you not to do it.
Yeah, but I would do it again. I would do the same thing again.
Why?
Because who would have thought the U.S. government would print $7 trillion cash? We printed more money in 2020. We printed 1/5, 20%, 21% of all the currency, U.S. dollars in circulation were printed in 2020. Who would think that? Had that not been done, then we would be in a situation right now that would be unfathomable for everybody. So I did the right thing. It just so happens the government came in and floated everybody. America thinks they're good. They're not. I did the right thing because for two reasons, but it was unpopular, right? And I supposedly I got destroyed on the internet, which I didn't. I got lifted up actually, but because all hate makes you great. So, but what it did do at our company was the people that were left here, 140 employees were left here. that everybody understood this is a serious situation.
Got to step up.
And that's why we ended up with the best year we've ever had.
Wow.
Because everybody's like, oh, now I just happened to be probably the first company in America that laid off people. We laid off 40 people. We have since, back before 2020 was over, I think we were full employment again. I don't have that department though. I don't have that department. I still don't have that department. And that's where we made the mistake, because I want that company. That company, that division is really important to me. But when you finish watching Undercover Billionaire, you'll see something else happen.
Okay, there you go. Well, this is inspiring, man. Always good stuff. I want to make sure people go watch Undercover Billionaire. The whole season's out right now. I mean, it's not all out yet, but you'll see it week by week on Discovery, or you can watch the back episodes on Discovery Plus, Fubo, Fubo TV, Roku, all that stuff. You can probably go online and watch back episodes depending on when you're listening to this or watching this. Make sure to follow Grant everywhere: YouTube, podcast, Instagram.
Come clubbing with me.
Me and Grant are going hard on Clubhouse, so he's Grant Cardone, I'm Lewis Howes over there. You'll probably join us in some rooms if you're on Clubhouse. You'll probably see both of us in rooms interacting. This is inspiring, man. There's so many things I would love to talk about, but I think it'll just set it up for another great interview in the next year. So, any final thoughts or wisdom you'd like to share?
No, dude, I love you. You know how I feel about you, and I've loved how when people ask me who my friends are, you're one of those people that I call a friend and count as a friend. And I know people talk a lot of smack about me, and I know in the beginning, I don't think you stood up for me in the beginning, but I know you do now because you understand me. Yeah. And my bad in the past this is what I was saying about learning from Clubhouse. It's like I'm learning to communicate better. Any negativity that I've collected over the past, I was responsible for because I was a poor communicator. But my intentions are good, my heart's good. I want to help people, and money matters, and so does success. Everybody deserves bunches of it. Everybody can have it. And so when Discovery offered to do this thing for me, I'm like, the American people are going to see Grant Cardone in a different light. Because now I'm not teaching or preaching. Now you just get to watch. You just get to roll along with me. Watch these other two chicks. Watch me. See what we both come up with. All three of us. See what we create. And pick your style. But I promise you, when people see the last week and see what I create, they're going to be like, I didn't like him, but I need to learn those moves.
Right.
So, and I'm not Grant Cardone in the show. I'm an everyday guy with no money, no credit, no banks, no solutions, but I'm just focused the whole time. I'm like a hungry dog on the back of a meat truck. I just won't let go. And I figure out, without them helping me, I figure out how to prove the American dream is alive and well without money and without credit, with just some hustle. Well, make sure you guys go watch that Undercover Billionaire. It's going to inspire you. Definitely going to watch the whole season. Also, if you want to learn more from Grant, in our last interview, he shares his 3 truths. I'm not going to share them here. You have to go listen to the previous episode, and also his definition of greatness. I'll link that up in the show notes. But Grant, I acknowledge you, man, for constantly reinventing. I mean, to be at the level you are financially and to put yourself in a 90 days of hell, I acknowledge you for taking on the challenge. It's not something I would want to do. So just putting yourself out there in uncomfortable ways consistently is inspiring. It's what's allowing you to continue to grow. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you, brother. And we'll talk soon, brother. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. If you're looking for more greatness in your life, make sure to check out this video right here. And also check out our free PDF, The 3 Secrets to Unlock the Power of Your Mind to help you change your life. Download it right here. There was a lot of restrictions on me in my house, so my dad was very, very strict. It was a threat, We're a designer toy store in Chicago. We had a PayPal as a touch-free way to pay.